Okay, here's an example that I'm just going to tweak and recreate. The assembly is held on file and the parts within it, and the substitute level of detail is represented by a part. So there is looking at 350 kilobyte, and the assembly itself, all the parts that are individually listed below it. So there's 16 of those at 150 kilobyte each. So you can see the memory saving that using this substitute gives you, and bear in mind that Invented Learning doesn't have to calculate the constraints. It doesn't have to move those files around because they're all mimicked by this single part. So I'm going to delete it from this example and then recreate it. Now that was being referenced by this level of detail, so I'll delete that level of detail as well. So I'll go to my master. So one alternative I looked at was shrink wrap. I'm not using that, although it has the same name, because this can't be modified. I'm going to use a new substitute. I'm going to use the derive assembly. So on the top I've got a style to use. Now the second one in is okay. It keeps the seams between faces, which looks okay on the drawings. I can cherry pick which parts I want to get included. Now I can, if I have a sort of a simple without ref level of detail set, I can use that as my source, and then when it comes to how much information I want, I can, if it's a very large assembly, so I can hide parts that are inside other parts, so I'm only seeing the outside of them. And if I've got nuts, bolts and washers, then, and if they're sort of a small percentage of the overall size, then I can hide those too. Again, if it's something with lots of holes in it, I can just fill the holes in, which will lighten the model, because it's just a representative of a sub-assembly in a much larger assembly. Okay, so once I save this, that's been recreated, and I can look at how it's saved in my files. So this has recreated that part again. I used a slightly different technique on this one, so that 225 kilobyte replacing many files.